The trailer for Power Book 3, Raising Kanan Season 5 Episode 1, opens with a heavy sense of tension that you can almost feel through the screen. There's no peace left in Kanan's world, only pressure, expectations, and the constant reminder that weakness equals death. The streets are colder now, more calculated, and far more unforgiving than before. Prepared for what's coming, everyone thinks they're in control. But the trailer hints that control is an illusion. Another strong layer in the Episode 1 preview is the theme of loyalty versus survival. Characters are being forced into corners where they must decide, stand with family, or save themselves. And in the Power universe, those decisions never come clean. They come with betrayal, secrets, and consequences that echo for seasons. You can sense that alliances will be tested immediately in Episode 1. Trust is thin, patience is thinner, and fear is driving people to make reckless moves. There's also a rising sense that Kanan is starting to understand the true cost of the life he's in. It's not just about money or territory anymore. It's about identity. Who is he becoming? Is he shaping his own destiny or turning into exactly what the streets want him to be? The trailer subtly plays with this inner conflict. You feel that Kanan is standing at a crossroads. One path leads to power, the other to whatever remains of his humanity. But the deeper he goes, the harder it becomes to turn back. Visually and emotionally, the tone of Season 5's opening feels heavier, darker, and more final. It carries the energy of a story entering its most dangerous chapter. There's less talk, more calculation, less hesitation, more action. The world around Kanan feels like it's closing in. Law enforcement pressure, street rivalries, and internal betrayals all tightening at once. By the time the trailer closes, one thing becomes crystal clear. Episode 1 isn't easing viewers back into the story. It's throwing them straight into rising conflict. The calm before the storm is over. Now, it's about who strikes first, who falls first, and who survives long enough to rule what's left. And if this premiere sets the tone for the rest of Season 5, then we're looking at the most explosive, psychologically intense chapter of Raising Kanan yet. As the trailer continues to unfold, the tension rises to an entirely new level, making it clear that Season 5 Episode 1 is not just about continuation. It's about escalation. The atmosphere feels thicker, almost suffocating, as if every character is walking into a storm they know they can't avoid. The power structure that once felt stable is now visibly cracking, and the fear of sudden betrayal hangs over every interaction. No one is speaking freely anymore. Every word feels measured, every silence feels intentional. It creates a psychological battlefield where danger doesn't always come from guns, but from decisions. Kanan's evolution becomes even more intense in this phase of the trailer. You can sense that he's no longer reacting to situations. He's beginning to anticipate them. There's a sharper awareness in how he carries himself, like someone who has finally accepted the rules of the game. But with that acceptance comes emotional detachment. The innocence that once defined him is almost completely gone. In its place stands someone colder, more observant, and far more willing to make hard choices if survival demands it. This transformation doesn't feel sudden. It feels earned through everything he's endured. What adds more suspense is the growing isolation around him. Even when he's surrounded by allies, there's a feeling that he's mentally alone. Trust is fading fast, and the trailer strongly suggests that Kanan is starting to rely more on his own instincts than anyone else's guidance. That shift is dangerous, because independence in this world often leads to conflict with those who once held authority over you. And that's where the tension with Rock intensifies even further. Rock, on the other hand, appears more pressured than ever before. Maintaining control over her empire is becoming increasingly difficult as threats multiply from all sides. The confidence she once carried now feels mixed with urgency. She's still powerful, still commanding. But as the trailer reaches its final stretch, the intensity doesn't just continue, it multiplies. The closing moments feel heavier, faster, and far more dangerous, as if the story is accelerating toward a point of no return. By now, it's clear that Season 5, Episode 1 isn't setting up small conflicts, it's setting up a chain reaction. Every character seems locked into a path that will inevitably collide with someone else's. And once those collisions happen, there will be no easy escape. Kanan stands at the center of this storm. But what makes his position so gripping is that he's no longer being pulled by the chaos. He's beginning to move with it. There's a confidence building inside him, but it's not the loud, reckless confidence of youth. It's quieter, more dangerous, the kind that comes from understanding how power really works. He's watching people more closely, reading motives, and recognizing weaknesses. The trailer strongly suggests that Kanan is preparing to step into authority in his own way, not as a copy of Rock, but as something entirely different. But power always demands sacrifice, and the final moments of the trailer lean heavily into that theme. You can feel that Kanan will be forced to make decisions that test whatever remains of his emotional boundaries. Relationships that once grounded him may become liabilities. Attachments may turn into vulnerabilities. And the deeper he goes into leadership, the more isolated he's likely to become. The transformation into his future self isn't just about strength, it's about what he's willing to lose to get there. Rack's presence in this closing phase feels equally intense. She's not stepping back, she's pushing forward, determined to maintain dominance, no matter the cost. But there's an underlying fear that her control is slipping in ways she can't fully stop. The trailer paints her as both powerful and threatened at the same time. A leader fighting external enemies while also sensing internal rebellion rising. Emotionally, the trailer closes on a chilling note. The loss of innocence is complete. The young man we first met is nearly gone, replaced by someone shaped entirely by survival. But what makes this transformation compelling is that traces of humanity still flicker beneath the surface. The question the season seems ready to explore is whether those traces will guide Kanan, or whether they'll be extinguished completely as power consumes him. The final impression Episode 1 leaves is clear and haunting. This season isn't about who wants power. It's about who is willing to become something unrecognizable to obtain it. Alliances will fracture. Families will divide. Empires will be tested from within and outside. And standing in the middle of it all will be Kanan, no longer learning the game, but preparing to dominate it. As the final layer of the trailer's impact settles in, what becomes most striking is the sense that Season 5, Episode 1 is laying the groundwork for irreversible destinies. This isn't just another chapter in the story. It feels like the threshold between who these characters were and who they are about to become permanently. The tone suggests that the world around Kanan is entering a phase where mercy is rare, hesitation is fatal, and every action echoes far beyond its moment. Kanan's psychological transformation stands at the core of this closing impression. There's a visible calmness in him now, but it's not peace, it's acceptance. Acceptance that the life he's in demands ruthlessness. Acceptance that loyalty can shift overnight. And acceptance that if he doesn't take control of his narrative, someone else will write it for him. The trailer hints that Episode 1 will show Kanan stepping into a more proactive role, initiating moves rather than waiting for conflict to reach. By the time the trailer delivers its final impact, what lingers isn't just excitement. It's a deep sense of inevitability. Season 5, Episode 1 feels like the opening move of a final transformation arc, not just for Kanan, but for everyone orbiting his world. The energy suggests that the story is no longer building toward power, it's building toward legacy. And legacy in the Power universe is never clean. It's carved through betrayal, sacrifice, and survival. Against impossible odds, Kanan's mindset in this last stretch feels more locked in than ever before. There's no confusion left, no hesitation. He understands the cost of the life he's chosen, and more importantly, he's starting to accept it. That acceptance is what makes him more dangerous, because once fear fades, boldness takes its place. The trailer hints that Kanan will begin making moves not out of reaction, but out of long-term vision. He's not just thinking about today's conflicts. He's thinking about where he wants to stand when the dust finally settles. But vision alone doesn't guarantee victory. The closing tone makes it clear. that every step forward will come with resistance. Enemies are no longer underestimating him. They're watching him, studying him, and preparing for him. This shift in perception raises the stakes dramatically. Kanan isn't operating in the shadows anymore. He's stepping into visibility, and visibility in this world paints a target on your back. Rack's arc in this phase feels layered with both pride and fear. There's a sense that she recognizes Kanan's growth, perhaps even respects it, but at the same time, she understands what it means for her own authority. Power doesn't expand peacefully. It collides. The trailer subtly frames their relationship as one moving toward an unavoidable clash of ideology. Rock believes in control through structure and hierarchy, while Kanan seems to be shaping a philosophy built on instinct, adaptation, and personal code. That philosophical divot. Emotionally, the trailer closes on a chilling note. The loss of innocence is complete. The young man we first met is nearly gone, replaced by someone shaped entirely by survival. But what makes this transformation compelling is that traces of humanity still flicker beneath the surface. The question the season seems ready to explore is whether those traces will guide Kanan, or whether they'll be extinguished completely as power consumes him. The final impression episode 1 leaves is clear and haunting. This season isn't about who wants power. It's about who is willing to become something unrecognizable to obtain it. Alliances will fracture. Families will divide. Empires will be tested from within and outside. And standing in the middle of it all will be Kanan, no longer learning the game, but preparing to dominate it. As the final layer of the trailer's impact settles in, what becomes most striking is the sense that Season 5, Episode 1 is laying the groundwork for irreversible destinies. This isn't just another chapter in the story. It feels like the threshold between who these characters were and who they are about to become permanently. The tone suggests that the world around Kanan is entering a phase where mercy is rare, hesitation is fatal, and every action echoes far beyond its moment. Kanan's psychological transformation stands at the core of this closing impression. There's a visible calmness in him now, but it's not peace, it's acceptance. Acceptance that the life he's in demands ruthlessness. Acceptance that loyalty can shift overnight. And acceptance that if he doesn't take control of his narrative, someone else will write it for him. The trailer hints that Episode 1 will show Kanan stepping into a more proactive role, initiating moves rather than waiting for conflict to reach. But what makes this progression even more suspenseful is the moral weight attached to it. Every step toward power is pulling him further away from the emotional grounding he once had. The people he cares about, the bonds that once protected his humanity, they're all at risk of becoming collateral damage in his rise. The trailer subtly frames this as an internal war just as significant as the external ones. Because the more power Kanan gains, the more he risks losing himself in the process. Rack's position feels equally complex in this final tone.